Hello. I would like to give you an overview of Chapter 9, Production and Operations Management. So, this chapter will capture what operations management is, and of course, some of the issues that pertains to operations management, such as facility location, facility layout, the MRP, material requirements planning, purchasing, just-in-time inventory, and quality control. These are some of the key features of the chapter and what we look at when we are discussing operations management. So the first thing we ask ourselves is what operations management is. Now you can think about operations management uh, either from a manufacturing facility. But I want you to go beyond just manufacturing. Even though, initially, I think if you go through the text, you think about operations management more like uh, a productive system where we talk about manufacturing, and that's the conversion of goods from one stage to the other, or that's the input to the output. Now, you have to realize that operations management as a concept, it's a management process but goes beyond just the mere conversion of raw materials to a byproduct or to a finished product. And that's why I said from the objective is we look at operations management by looking at other issues that we deal with when we are looking at operations management. But the primary concern, of course, of operations management or a manager is the activities in the conversion process. But again, get this, it's just more than just the conversion process. So, if you think about again, operations management would include things, for example, inventory management. For example, think about a retail store or think about a manufacturing facility that has to deal with buying raw materials from suppliers. Again, for you to produce, goods or merchandise, you must make sure that you have enough raw materials. So, how you source for the raw materials, how you control those raw materials becomes a key aspect of operations management. The quality control is also another issue in OM, that's operations management. So in terms of quality control, again, if you think about in terms of the raw materials, you are asking, is the raw materials of the right quality? Do they meet our standard specifications in terms of quality? So that again, this will ensure that the final product or the byproduct out of the conversion process again meets certain standards. Then we talk about also the productive scheduling, which is also part of operations management. Again, here we look at supply, demand, and forecasting. So remember, for scheduling for your operations or for your production, you're trying to be able to meet the demand of the commodity, and therefore you want to make sure that you're producing enough to meet the demand. So again, to make this possible, you also have to look at the supply or on the supply side. Of course, also forecasting, because remember, you're producing goods for the future, which the future could be a month, could be 2 months, could be 6 months, could be a year, depending on the nature of your productive system. If that's the case, then of course, uh, correct forecasting is very key in trying to ensure that you plan also for the raw materials or the inventory in terms of the inventory for the raw materials is available when you need it. We also look at follow up services. Again, could be after we have produced, or after we have sold commodities? Do we have any other issues? For example, what about if the merchandise is returned to us in terms of the not of the quality that we wanted, or either the damaged or the warranty issues? Again, there'll be some of the follow-up issues we have to address. We also look at facility location in operations management. Here again, whether should we expand, should we open up another site for the farm, or should we even again reduce what we have? But again, in terms of location, we are saying we need to address or we need to open up another site, and therefore, where are we going to put this site? So we have to consider other factors in terms of site location. So we look at for them in terms of infrastructure, in terms of labor, availability of labor. It may be raw materials could be some of the influencing factors when it comes to locating a facility. Facility layout is another issue also in OM. Again, you can look at a good example of businesses around. It could be a case of Walmart, could be a case of Walgreens, yeah, Apple. You can name all those businesses, and you will find most likely they tend to have a specific layer of their facilities, and of most important of inside their facilities, they tend to have a particular way of organizing their services or their physical resources. So in that case, of course, the facility layout becomes another issue we have to address. In terms of the raw materials, as we mentioned before, we look at our outsourcing, or should we produce in house, or should we then lease, or should we buy? And all those are also other issues that we have to address in operations management. So to be more effective and to be more competitive as a firm, then it means that we have to consider what is most important for the organization. So, in order for farms to be effective, we need to focus on the customers. Again, customers is very key because remember, we are producing goods and services, or it could be a retail store. We are buying goods from other suppliers or from manufacturers and selling this to the consumers or to our customers. Again, we will focus on what our customers want. What is this, a retail store? Or if whether this is a manufacturing facility, we also have to consider what our customers, which could be those retail stores, are looking for. So focusing on the customer becomes a key element that ensures that we remain competitive in the global market. Maintain a close relationship with suppliers. Again, remember we're talking about, for example, a concept of just-in-time in inventory, where we are saying you don't want to have too much of the raw materials on hand. So you only want to order raw materials when you need it or when you have an order to fulfill. Again, to achieve that objective, it means you have to order the raw materials from the suppliers. And for this to be possible, then it means you must have strong and close relationship with the supplier, so that if you need raw materials by next week, then you have suppliers you can rely on. So having those strong relationship is very key to operations management and also to remaining competitive. We also you want to practice continuous improvement in your system, on your processes, to make sure again you're becoming better and better and better and so on. Focusing on quality again is a key idea. Again, you can sell merchandise that is of low quality, you can sell merchandise that is damaged, and so on. So what you want to make sure is you're producing goods of the right quality given the specifications. You also want to make sure that if you're selling, if you're the middleman or your retail store, you also want to ensure that you're buying raw materials from suppliers, and those raw materials of right quality that is going to ensure that you end up producing or selling goods that are of the right standard. You want to save on cost through site selection. You want to rely on the internet, again, take advantage of technology and use it again to achieve your business goals, and adapt new product production techniques But they're also going to ensure that you produce what you're supposed to produce. So that's basically just a snapshot of the chapter or some of the things that we try to focus on when we're talking about operations management. But again, this is a snapshot in this course because remember, this is an introductory course. But we go a step further by trying to look at how do we deal with quality, how do we assess quality. Again, it goes back to the raw materials. It goes back to the to the products or the material that have been produced in that productive system. It goes before we can ship it to consumers. It means we must check the quality before we can send it to consumers. So those are the some of the quality checks we have to look at in terms of even stepping or looking more into the quality issue as an operations management. So just to give a snapshot, this is some of the key issues that we address in operations management. But we should learn more about this in your future classes and expand more on some of these issues in your future classes.